why they didn't steal them. They were right under their noses. Morons.
Yo, what's up boys, and welcome back to yet another video. This one is going to be an early sneak peek at probably the only game I'm really excited for coming out in the next year, which is going to be Dying Light 2. The developers of Dying Light 2 Techland were nice enough to send out an invite for me to fly over to San Francisco to play the game early. The game is not going to be coming out until February 2022, and I'm going to be telling you why you should be excited for the game, maybe some things you don't already know about the game, and in the background right now you're seeing my amazing controller gameplay. Unfortunately, it was controller only at the event. Sorry, I'm not very good at controller. I could have got you guys some more epic gameplay if I was allowed to use keyboard and mouse. I did actually bring my own mouse to the event, so unfortunately couldn't use that one. If you're a fan of my channel in the past, one of the games which a lot of people always say, Lewis, I watched you back when you played X, it would be the DayZ mod or DayZ Standalone. And this game kind of falls in the same genre, but it's a bit different. But Dying Light 1 and therefore Dying Light 2 as well, because it doesn't try to really change what they've done so well for first game, but more so add a bit of spice into it. They're really the only and the best zombie survival open world games that exist. The closest I could think of is maybe Dead Rising, maybe? But it's really in a genre of its own, and it does very well at that. The event itself was really cool. I got murdered by the main character's voice actor, as you can see here. I found a Peacekeeper friend, which is one of the factions in the game right here, and we had a crazy fight. I also found a Call of Duty map, a Call of Duty Zombies map. That was kind of weird. And then I also found like a street from San Andreas, I think, GTA. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And I found a seagull. I don't know what's up with him. But anyway, yeah, Dying Light 2 event. Good event. There are some limitations to what we could record during this event. For example, I can't show you guys any of the menus except one exception, which I'll talk about later. It's a really interesting system for introducing with Dying Light 2. So I can't show you like all of the skills and the menus and all that kind of stuff. But as a whole, playing this early sneak peek of the game, some people worried they would end up, you know, falling the same way that Cyberpunk did and just releasing a buggy mess. But I can say after playing it, obviously we're still a few months out until release, but it really wasn't buggy at all, and it ran really, really well. We were recording at 1080p on probably a 165 hertz monitor, and I didn't see any dips at all. Not that really we'd expect that from this game, since it is, like I've already said, at its core, very similar to Dying Light, but with upgraded everything and slightly better graphics and all that kind of stuff. And that game ran really, really well as well. So it's good that we haven't broken anything somehow, which was fine. We do have an extra level of really scale in this game, as you see with the skyscrapers, and just the size of the open world, the amount of zombies, all that kind of stuff. It's really the same game, but just, like I said, a bit of spice added into it, which is great. Don't fix what's not broken, right? One thing which is new to this game, and we haven't seen in quite a while in a Techland game, is something you probably already noticed, but it's the HP bars beside the zombies. This not only tells you how much HP the zombie has, but it also will tell you some additional information, such as its level as well, because there is different leveled zombies in different zones, so you can't just, you know, speed run to the skyscrapers and all that kind of stuff, which you're going to experience a bit more into the game. And we did indeed get some gameplay of that, which I'll be showing you guys on screen right now. Last time they did have those HP bars was in Techland's first game in this open world zombie survival genre, which was Dead Island. In fact, I was watching the Dying Light trailer before recording this, and someone said this is a really good copy of Dead Island or something like that. Yeah, it's the same developer, the same guys who made Dead Island made Dying Light. So this is obviously not Techland's first venture into the genre, which is good. This is like their fourth time of really making a game like this. So they decided to bring back the HP pop-up, and I'm not against it. I think it's okay, and it does mean that the game kind of has a bit more replayability in that sense, where you can kind of make zombies have bigger numbers, but you're also hitting bigger, right? Looping over into this, the RPG elements, I guess, although I can't show you, which really, really sucks, but the game does have, and I don't think I've talked about this before, you do have a tiered armor system, so you've got like green, blue, purple, and I'm assuming yellow for legendary, different pieces of gear you can find in the world through quests and through bartering, through doing certain challenges and all that kind of stuff, I'd imagine as well. So the same system we had with Dying Light's weapons, because we had the exact same tiering of gear, that's applied to 6 different slots in your armor now, which gives you a gear armor number, and also actually supplies different pluses, such as, you know, more damage with 2-hand weapons and all kinds of itemization and different like role names like tank, ranger, and brawler. So that way you can kind of get, you know, a full outfit of tank armor on, and then in theory you should be more tanky and maybe using 2-handed weapons more and all that kind of stuff. So there's a certain level of itemization, which again adds replayability to the game which is that's fine. It also means you can customize your character more. In the original game, you could only wear a certain number of like outfits, kind of thing, like a ninja outfit and all this kind of stuff. But now, I mean, you'd probably be able to do that as well, but you will also be able to, if you don't have any of those DLCs, go ahead and dress as you like as well. This level of animation also goes over to the weapons. Without listing everything which I experienced, which is boring, they can have some interesting things. For example, this weapon I'm looking at has low health damage bonus plus 13% and plus 20 stance meter damage. So the weapons have, you know, varying different advantages, which could be better for different situations, right? And it also has customization of the tip socket and the shaft socket, as well as actually a charm socket. I'm assuming the charm socket is something entirely cosmetic, so you could have some kind of charm on there, which I'm sure they'll add to the game as some free content updates and all that kind of stuff, as well as being able to edit the tip socket, which allows you to actually, I think this is for, because I only experienced it one time, is to add a flame effect, a lightning effect, an ice effect, or whatever else. And then the shaft socket, I'm assuming, is pretty much the way it used to work in the first Dying Light, where you can add like a bunch of just modifier kind of things onto it, which don't impact the way the weapon looks. It might in this game, I'm not sure, I never got a shaft socket, but it will, you know, make the weapon better in some way than it would do without the shaft socket being filled. Something that Techland have talked a lot about in this game, I obviously got to experience firsthand, which is the idea of this game being a game with choice, which is something you simply didn't have in Dying Light. There was no choices. In this game, you will clearly see the difference between a non-choice dialogue and a choice dialogue, which I'll be showing you guys the differences between those on the screen right now. And this can impact the game in several different ways, including, you know, just making the quests different, someone dying who wouldn't have otherwise, maybe different quest lines as well, potentially, depending on the choices you make. I'd imagine probably, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And to add on top of that level of choice, I guess, when you take over certain locations on the map, I'm not sure exactly how this works, but you get to either align with one faction or the other, which will then actually not only have a cosmetic difference of that actual thing in the world, the area you took over kind of thing, but also will have an additional reward of adding different things into the city to make it stronger, or more so in your favor, I guess, such as airbags, zip ropes. You get, I think with a certain faction upgrade, a alarm that you can set off on vehicles at nighttime, something like that. And there's a bunch of different levels of those. So slowly, as you progress through Dying Light 2, you are going to just feel your character getting stronger, feel the world around you changing, find some interesting Easter eggs maybe, some legendary weapons, all that kind of stuff. This game's all about progression, and it's one of my favorite things about games, and what gets me to play for longer hours is just good progression mechanics which keep you hooked to the game. And of course, this game has the additional of having what I've seen in my 4 hours of playing, a solid story. Although this was a few hours into the game, we were told, so we didn't get to experience the game from the start, so we didn't get to, you know, really understand the lore inside out. And also, of course, some amazing combat with the melee, feeling just real strength behind the two-handed weapons, being able to decapitate a human or a zombie, or cutting off its leg or whatever else. It just feels really satisfying, and it never gets boring. We were obviously playing relatively low levels, so we didn't get to do some of the classic Dying Light moves, like the double foot drop kick. I will show some footage. I think I have some from the B-roll we were supplied as well of that move. But yeah, all the classic moves, being able to just, you know, kick zombies off roofs and all that kind of stuff, and smash zombies with your elbow. Some of those are back in this game as well. A lot of them are back in this game, although I didn't get to try them. But we also do, of course, get a bunch of new movement and also offensive abilities. Speaking of offense, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I'm just kidding, there isn't an elephant in the room. But if you guys played the first one, you'll know there was quite a lot of weapons. I personally wasn't a massive fan of weapons, and I'm sure you guys weren't either. If you didn't know already, they did seemingly talk about this earlier, but I missed it as well. There's only going to be like one weapon from what I know in the game, which is like an offhand shotgun. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that one. In fact, I might have said something in this video that is simply wrong. If you know Dying Light 2, maybe better than me. But that's what I was told. So maybe a lesser emphasis on weapons, but still bows plus headshots. Very strong combo along with crafting. Crafting is going to be a friend in this game. You're definitely going to be crafting a lot of meds, a lot of throwables, and a lot of arrows if you're into that. So the bow might be your best friend, especially considering I think this is oh yeah, you can see in the bottom left, this is a blue bow. So yeah, and there's multiple ammo types, like frost arrows it seems like, I think, which is really cool. The last game did have like explosive bolts and stuff like that, so I'm sure there's a decent amount of variation for crafting some cool bow ammo as well. In the skill tree as well, I did see there was quite a few bow abilities, so these are going to obviously take a big role in this game because guns just aren't really going to be a plentiful option, which There were in quite a lot of story quests in Dying Light 1 where you would just shoot everything you see, but now you have to bow everything you see. I actually recorded the entire skill tree, hoping to be able to share it with you guys, so it's a shame that I can't. But obviously, if things are not finished or they just don't want us to show right now, then that's fine. I was still very impressed with what I did see. Still on the topic of progression, though, we do know the game will have a grappling hook, much like the old game, but this one looks even more fun, like more of a traditional swingy kind of grappling hook, as well as the paraglider, which we did get to try in this gameplay, which you've probably already seen at some point in the background. The paraglider is good fun. I'm not sure if you can upgrade it because it is a bit slow, but it's a great tool to be used, very fun, very practical, and I'd imagine combined with the grappling hook, which I didn't get to try out, but we have seen before, I think it's going to make just flying around in this skyscraper region even more fun than it could be otherwise. Dying Light's always done parkour well. It's always been parkour plus, you know, chopping up zombies, and now I guess they brought it to an extra level, bringing bigger buildings than ever. More tools to kill zombies with and more moves to kill zombies with to just make it that leveling experience, like I said, really, really addictive and really, really fun. And you definitely feel the strength, I know from playing Dying Light 1 for about 60 hours between, you know, a completely maxed out character and when you've just started playing. In fact, I felt that even in the 4 hours where I was feeling stronger, I was feeling more accustomed to my skills I've unlocked and the tools at my disposal, and got a bit more comfortable trying out maybe two-handed weapons and all that kind of stuff, and getting I got the flame attachment on my weapon, which is different to the first game. Actually, I should have mentioned this earlier, but in the way that it's got, at least I don't believe this was in the first game, you can use it to actually set the zombies on fire. So it's got like a cooldown use, but then I don't know how it works, because I know you definitely can. I've seen it in the B-roll footage, which I would have shown you guys as well. There is just normal, like a normal attack zombies, and you get lightning or fire. So I'm not sure how this extra, you know, cooldown ability works in unison with that, because mine didn't set things on fire. But either way, weapon modding is my point. Woo. What other things can you do in the world, though? There is the addition of towers to climb, kind of like Far Cry, right? But Dying Light 1 didn't have towers to climb. You went around the world, you unlocked safe houses, and that was no, that wasn't it, but that was essentially what this is a replacement for. So now these safe houses will be primarily, from what I've seen, on rooftops. So you need to go on these mills, on these rooftops. It's kind of like a bit of a parkour puzzle, which is good fun. And then you go ahead and like flip a switch, and the boys come on over, and now that's your place, and it's a safe zone for you to chill out in. And it gets like a zip hook up to it and down from it, which is useful for escaping those sticky nighttime situations, which I do have a bit to talk about when it does come to nighttime as well. And along with that, there is these larger camps which you can take over. These are a cool new addition to Dying Light 2 and allow you to, I guess, just kind of see larger concentrations of humans, which you've got a decent amount of like PvP, like person v person in Dying Light 1 versus person v zombie combat. But you didn't get that much that was very visceral with your, you know, hands. Most of the killing people in the first game was with weapons, but since weapons aren't a big deal in this, you're going to be getting hands-on with the different tiers of these camps. Obviously, it's got different entrances, stealthy ways to get in, and then you've got like lieutenants, and you've got like the bosses kind of thing of these camps, so that way you can eventually take it over. And this makes a cosmetic difference to a world, as do the towers. Once you've taken them over, it will make the world look different, and it'll be an area which you can get, you know, quests from, barter, etc., etc., and just feel like you're progressing and you know, taking back humanity and stuff. Again, just to re-emphasize this, but I am limited in what I can show you guys today, unfortunately. I am really hyped for the game, and I'm sure, as you guys can see from the gameplay and the mechanics I've described a bit, it does sound like a good combo, but like showing you guys a completely unedited quest, I can't do that. Even if I've seen like a really cool quest, you're going to see some highlights in the background, but I'm assuming they're doing this primarily so that people can just go buy the game themselves and have a good time, and I recommend you guys to do so. For my gameplay, I don't think Dying Light 2 is going to, you know, be some kind of tragic upset and everyone's going to be disappointed with it. Obviously, they're going to be, much like we did with the first game, making lots of content. Some of that's going to be some free content, I'm sure, as we did with the first game, a very good amount of free content, plus some paid DLC, just like we did with the first game. Maybe an expansion like Dying Light the following, which was Dying Light's only true expansion, like a fully fledged expansion, which added in vehicles. That was cool. So I'm sure they've got some interesting plans with Dying Light 2. I mean, they're still supporting Dying Light 1, even 5 years, 6 years actually, after it first came out. So yeah, excited to see what happens with this one, because we will definitely be supporting it for years after its release. As I mentioned earlier, we were only allowed to play for 4 hours, but I think going through the game, enjoying the story, the side quests, the random things to do around in the world, which there is a lot of things to do, getting better equipment and weapons and finding Easter eggs and doing all this kind of stuff alone, assuming no updates, I can easily see this game lasting 30 hours plus of great co-op shenanigans. It is really hard these days to find a good co-op game, and I think surviving a zombie apocalypse, kind of, it's a good combo. Talking a bit about the nighttime side of things, it was something which was highly emphasized in Dying Light 1's original like releases for trailers and stuff like that. Like, oh no, nighttime, spooky things come out. And because of that, I don't really think Dying Light 1, in my memory at least, it wasn't really something I played much of. It was something I kind of avoided. Sometimes you had to do quests during nighttime, but as a whole, it was really, really hard to survive at nighttime. And again, I don't know Dying Light inside out, so if I'm saying things which are just wrong, I'm sorry. But in this game, there's 4 different levels of being chased. I don't know how these work. I just didn't get enough time to experience it. But nighttime as a whole is just less punishing. Something that isn't less punishing is fall damage. And there's a lot of big buildings in this game. So, yeah, try not to jump off of those or hang glide or I guess use your grapple hook when you get there eventually and fly around. Try to do that instead of falling to your death, because I did fall to my death a few times during this video recording, I won't lie, but I'll blame it on the controller again. It's fine. You can still look back while being chased, much like you could in the first game, but there does seem to be quite a lot of ways to get out of these situations, although again I didn't have too much experience in them because I wanted to get like light gameplay so you guys could actually see things. I'm assuming as it levels up, there's just like more special zombies or more zombies or something like that. That makes sense. Speaking of special zombies, there are a lot of special zombies in this, but again, because we didn't have that much time to play and we were mostly playing early-ish on in the game, it's hard really to say, you know, how many there's going to be. But from the gameplay we've seen and from the gameplay you've seen here and just looking into the game in general, seems like there's going to be a good amount of those, which is a good improvement. But yeah, since you've got so much more parkour ability in this game versus the previous, and you've also got the ability to use the zip lines or the hooks up to the safe zones, if you are being chased, these are going to be your best option. Since there's going to be, I guess, a decent amount of those spread throughout the map, which I'm not sure how big it is, but it looked pretty big from what I've seen, I'll say that much. And of course we do have a skyscraper, so it's got to be some level of big. It's going to be a fun little chase right there. Especially once you got your grapple hook and that kind of stuff, you're gonna have fun having chases at nighttime, I'd imagine. Speaking of that as well, there are so many enderable buildings, it's insane. And speaking of enderable buildings, there are now dark zones, which I just didn't have enough time to look at too much. But yeah, these dark zones seem to be scattered around the map, and there's something you can go to for loot of some sort. I don't know, again, exactly how these work. I think one of these things you can find on the map does have something to do with the HP and stamina upgrades that I can get, because you need to find a physical item for those. So I really don't know, but there's just a lot of stuff to do on the map, and that's always a good thing. And there are quite a lot of, at least through my play session, quests that force you to do things at nighttime, which results, because nighttime's a lot more playable, in some pretty cool situations. Again, I can't show you guys the cool quests. I'm sorry. I did also see 2 other weird things around the world. Military checkpoints with a lot of tank boys in it, and also this thing here. I don't know what it even is, but it's something you can do, and something happens when you kill it, and it looks weird. If you've been counting how many special zombies you've seen in this video, I'm sure you've seen a few so far. In terms of leveling in this game, which is probably the thing you're going to see the biggest change with, you know, is actually being able to purchase new skills. It's pretty similar to the last game, where, in fact, the last game had technically more. I mean, this might change. The game's not coming out for a few months, but as of right now, you have 2 girthy trees, one for your parkour skills and one for your combat skills. Every time you do something parkour related, you'll see in the top right. Every time you do something combat related, you'll see in the top right. So you can work out what gets those good gains for your XP for those. And then on top of that, you will also find items in the world. And once you've got enough of these, you can then go ahead and level up either your HP or your stamina. So again, just another assortment of dopamine hits, man, from, you know, progression. We love progression. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, and I will maybe make some more content on Dying Light on YouTube. I'm definitely going to be doing a stream of the game when it does come out. I wish I could have shown you guys more of the actual main quests, but I'm sure you can see why that limitation is there. It's so you can try out the game for yourself. This was more so first impressions, looking at the core gameplay, some of the changes we're looking at, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure you can see, because of the fact that it's the same game plus choice, you can't really go too wrong on that one now, can you? You made a lot of money from Dying Light 1, and it looks like they're going pretty hard with Dying Light 2 too. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you got any questions, which maybe I can answer, then feel free to leave those in the comment section. I'm sure I missed a few things which maybe some people are going to be curious about. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.